AI is causing a crisis for product managers. I don't think it's too far to say that PMs are the worst off of the job families around AI right now. And I say that being very aware that there are colleagues of mine in engineering, in customer success, in sales who would disagree with me, in marketing who would disagree with me. That's okay. I want to talk about PM, partly because I know it well, done PM, I've managed PMs, I've led PMs, but partly because AI is doing more of the heavy lifting in the PM domain than most PMs expected. And that is leading to a crisis of identity that is distinct and different from what I see when I talk to marketers, to CS, to sales, to others who feel like their jobs are impacted by AI. Let me explain what I mean. If you're in CS, it's a very clear engagement model for AI. The AI comes, and whatever your feelings about it, it's picking up triage tickets. That's just pretty much what it does. If you're in sales, the AI comes and it's listening in on calls and it's giving you coaching tips and it's maybe writing your outbound emails, etc. Again, very predictable scope of engagement. If you are in marketing, the scope of engagement is similarly predictable, but it's about creative and asset generation. It is different with PM. And you guys give the PM a hug, because for PMs, there's multiple threats on multiple axes. Yes, we have the same thing that you guys have, where it's about asset generation. So PRD generation, Clairvaux has got a whole business around PRD generation, and there's other assets that PMs are responsible for that AI helps with as well. So there's that whole skill set to master. And by the way, that is not an easy skill set, because you have to retain your thinking, thoughtfulness, and creativity, but somehow work faster because of AI. There's product insight requires a mixture of data and storytelling, genuine product sense, product gut, engineering competence. It was always hard. And AI makes it faster, but not necessarily better unless you really know how to prompt. So that whole asset creation thing is very fraught for PMs. But on top of that, you have to build AI product, which marketers don't have to do, CS doesn't have to do. You have to figure out how to build AI product, and AI product doesn't work like any other product, guys. Other products, you can just sort of say, this is what the product is, and write the requirements. And that's how we were all brought up if we were in PM for a decade. But not anymore. Now, the product is probabilistic if you're building an AI product. The product is, it mostly does this, but sometimes there are edge cases. Sometimes the product is, we figured this out. Can you help us package it? It is not easy to build AI product, especially when you couple that with the demands from executives, where executives are expecting really rapid ships on AI. They're expecting deadlines, and your engineering team is like not willing to give you deadlines on probabilistic products so often. So there's the product piece. There's the asset piece. Both of those are very tricky. There's a third piece that no other role has, which is that PM has always been a glue role. It has always been an in-between role. In fact, it evolved out of the need to keep engineers out of meetings, which is why if your PM is in meetings, he or she is, they're doing their job. But so much of that is now up for debate, isn't it? Because if it's just about giving information, can an AI do that? Yeah. If it's just about stakeholder management, can an AI do that? Maybe, not really. If it's about persuading and aligning on a step forward with executives, can an AI do that? Definitely not. And so there's this weird stakeholder management mess that PMs have always had to handle, that they now have to handle with AI in ways that are not clear. And on the other side, it's getting increasingly blurry too, because now PMs are expected not just to write specs, but to directly prototype. We're expected to write stuff up in Lovable and show it. And maybe we don't write the PRD and we just show the prototype, right? Or maybe we go so far as to commit code using Claude Code, and maybe an engineer reviews it, or maybe Codex reviews it, or maybe Claude Code reviews it. But either way, we're writing code. We're vibe coding code. We're vibe coding our SQL statements. Maybe we're making small UX pieces we can just commit ourselves. PM has always been an ambiguous role. The fact that it's ambiguous is not new. The fact that it is under strain from so many different axes at once. The job itself is changing both with stakeholders and with engineering at the same time as the tools we use to do the job are changing, at the same time as the definition of the role itself is changing, as the same time as the products we build are changing. That is why PM is in crisis. That is why I know a lot of PMs who are walking away because it is just too hard. Don't worry. The first half of this video is all about how bad it is, but the second half is hope. The second half is words of wisdom from someone who knows AI pretty well and who knows PM pretty well on how we start to navigate through this as product managers, as product leaders. Number one, we need to start to get real comfortable with the technical aspects of LLMs. Increasingly, the career risk is hitting non-technical PMs harder. And I will go farther. It is hitting technical PMs who are not AI technical fluent. And that is different from saying I need to be a PM who can manage an AI product release. I'm talking about be a PM who understands when to enforce schema validation or not, when to have a library of tools versus having a large prompt in your agent. You want to be really familiar with the trade-offs that go with building AI products. And in particular, you want to have a high fidelity mental model of a large language model and how it works, how agents work, so that you can be helpful when you are in the room with engineers talking about trade-offs, because that is how you actually move the ball forward on product and eventually come back with relevant deadlines. So I think the first piece is you got to get technically fluent. I'm sorry, there's no substitute. The good news is ChatGPT is a great teacher. It really is. Like, you can ask ChatGPT to give you a technical AI lesson every morning and schedule it, and it will do that. Number two, make sure that what you are building matters. I say that because I think that another reason why burnout happens and frustration happens is that PMs are put, especially now, on projects that are unlikely to move the needle. And if you think, oh, that's the non-AI products, I've got news for you. AI products don't always move the needle either. In many cases, what burns PMs out is being asked to do an AI product that the CEO came up with on LinkedIn, and they have no autonomy to manage that, and they just have to push it through, and good luck. So get yourself into a space where you have a product that actually matters. It might not be an AI product, and I'm going to tell you that that's okay. But it needs to be a product that you believe can move the needle. Even if it doesn't yet, you believe your involvement is enough to move the needle. And if that sounds like it's meaning making, it is meaning making, but that's the art of PM. If you're not motivated, if you're not energized, if you don't feel like there's meaning here, you can't convince your stakeholders, you can't sell the product, you can't believe in the product, you can't roadmap the product, and you cannot convince engineers on that. So yeah, it does. And I think it especially matters in the age of AI, because so many of these AI products that PMs are being asked to PM, they tell me, and I see, are just AI washing. They're not any good. And that's so demoralizing. It doesn't help with your resume. It doesn't build value. It doesn't move the needle for customers. It discourages your engineering team. It doesn't teach you good AI best practices. So build what matters. Number three, make sure that you don't lose your product intuition. So AI is going to help you go faster. You're going to be asked to go faster, and you're going to feel split between 5, 6 different ways. How many ways can I write a Slack update? Can I use the AI to write the PRD for me, etc.? The best PMs are basically treating AI as a way to extend their attention on less important tasks, and they are keeping the things that matter, the taste, the judgment, for themselves. They are not outsourcing that. If you have a hunch about your product and you're an experienced PM, follow that hunch. Take it seriously. Yes, AI can listen to and read through all of the transcripts from all of the customer calls, and that's great. And maybe it will surface some things you didn't see, and that's amazing. You have a product gut for a reason. And it is demoralizing to ignore it. It's death to your product gut. It's damaging to your future career. This is a craft skill, right? It's a fingertippy skill. It's something you learn in the shop. Don't lose your touch. Don't lose your product intuition. If you think it needs to launch now, it probably does. Just go with it. And I think that we sometimes misunderstand what AI is. We sometimes think because AI is something we're building with, and also like apparently an AI colleague, and also apparently involved in our meetings and stakeholder management, that we should give it a lot more deference or trust then I think we should, especially in product where you are responsible for setting direction and autonomy. Don't do that. Trust your gut. Trust your intuition. You will get less burned out. The product is going to be better, and you will put AI in its right place as an assistant, not a colleague that calls the shots. I'll tell you one more thing. Your job to drive alignment between engineering and leadership has not gone away, not eroded one bit. AI can't help you with it. And if you can't keep direction there and clarity there, your career isn't worth a plug nickel. That is the value. That is what you can't substitute any other way. And so make sure if you're working on something meaningful that you are putting the human work in to keep alignment with leadership and your technical teams. That you can't have AI just write the deck and assume it's going to be right there, right? You can't have AI give the presentation. You are going to have to go in, you are going to have to write the docs and the decks that work for you. And can AI help? Yeah, actually, AI can help. But there's no substitute for your conviction that this is the right angle to approach an important meeting with. There's no substitute for your conviction that the agenda needs to be shorter because of X or Y stakeholder. There's no substitute for your conviction that the technical team needs 2 weeks more time and you have to go and get it. That's your job. And so when you look back and you look at sort of where you are now, the things that I'm emphasizing are things that you can trace a through line for the last decade plus. These are things we've always had to do, but I think they're things we've started to forget because AI is incredibly loud and in our faces all the time. I'm not saying don't use AI. AI tooling is great. If you can use AI to help you write better PRDs and one pagers and write better SQL and get into prototyping, that is all great skills that you can demonstrate that move the ball forward for your customers. Do it. Don't lean out, lean in. But you are leaning into AI to become a PM with these core skills that don't change, like working with stakeholders, like aligning with leadership, like working on something that matters in a way that's new. AI is a tool in the toolkit. You are a craftsman and you can use AI as a tool in your toolkit. And you should, and you need to. And the ones who don't are in trouble. But don't mistake that need to lean in for a need to lean away from these core values. Those don't change. And I feel like this is missing. I feel like we don't have enough conversations about the core values in the job family. And that's why I'm putting this out there. They haven't changed. The things that make PM successful over time have not changed. AI is just a tool that we're using to get there. I hope this has helped. Best of luck with product. Oh, if you stayed this long, you want to check out my product manager dice. I can roll this, right? And it says on the roadmap, it says no, it says planned for Q5. That's my favorite one. And it depends. I love that. So anyway, have fun, keep chuckling, and stay in product is worth it.